All right, thank you all. Hola. Hola. Oh! Woo! All right, that was not planned. Anyways, it's very lovely to be here, and hello all Paradisers. This conference is very important to me. This is my third conference in the span of 16 years. First one was, well, very long ago in Mallorca, 2010. Anybody was there, maybe? We have some rare hands, but we do. Okay. And yeah, so today I will have one intermezzo topic. It is a project related to Hyvä. However, the topic will not be focused entirely on Hyvä. I hope you will find it interesting, especially the profiles of you who are more involved into the UX creation part of the online stores. So I will present one project which is very dear for me, and we will come to the details later. So, just a bit about myself. I'm a CEO and founder at Inchoo. We are in e-commerce business since 2008, since the version 1.0 of Magento, right? So at the start of Magento era, we started also the company. Some of you know the company from the Magento 1 blog era. We became, we had quite a popular website at that time. But also, one regarding this conference, we also organized one Magento Developer Conference. The first one, I think, summer edition outside of Spain, in Croatia, in Opatija. And I know that some of you were there. Who was there? In Opatija? All right. Awesome. Regarding the football club and the web shop of the football club that I'm going to present, its name is Hajduk Split. I hope that some of you heard about it. Unfortunately, the results of Hajduk Split suck in the last 20 years, but in Yugoslavia days, they were one of the top 4 clubs in ex-Yugoslavia, besides Crvena Zvezda, Partizan, Dinamo Zagreb, and Hajduk. But still, all the results suck. The fan base is top in Balkans. You know, so the Hajduk has the highest fan base not only in Croatia, but in Balkans. We have one of the oldest organized football supporter group in Balkans, and global fan base, of Croatians and Croatia diaspora. But there are also a lot of people who love the club who are not related to Croatia at all. So, why I'm saying this? Before we started, it was very clear that this project will not be only the web shop. You know, it will be the project that should continue to use the values that are embodied in the club, and we need to extend these values to some other channel. In this case, it was e-commerce. However, although we'll use Hajduk as a case study, the topic will not be about Hajduk, because it would make a lot of sense, right? But so we'll learn how to build the UX measurement plan and how to set goals and KPIs for UX element, and basically how to use the proper plan setting and the data that we have in the project team collaboration. All right, bear with me, so we'll explain the details a little bit later. So, what is the problem that we are trying to solve? So, as you know, when the new opportunity arises, you get some kind of sales talk, sales negotiation. Your agency learns about the client business, you learn about the goals of the new website, the challenges they had before, etc. And at some point, the project comes to the design phase, right? So in most of the cases, what actually happens, the UX, UI designers get involved, and basically they are working on some prototypes, wireframes in Figma, and then you present them to the other project team, and collaboration happens, which is good, you know. But it's often, that type of collaboration is often related on opinions without a clear guideline what exactly are we trying to accomplish and what the success looks like. Okay, maybe this is a bit void at the start. We'll explain in details later. So the idea is to introduce one step before the UX planning process comes, that will align all the production team to be able to create more meaningful design that will be highly result-oriented, and where the benefit, where the other team members, like front-end developers, back-end developers, e-commerce manager, digital marketing, will be able to contribute in a more meaningful way. Okay, a lot of this is said. Once again, we'll come to the examples. So, measurement plan, I believe this concept is familiar to you. I believe that a lot of the companies have certain way of handling this. We will introduce two concepts of measurement plan and UX measurement plan. The UX measurement plan is a part of measurement plan that is related to measuring the success of the user experience. So let's say that when you have the concept of measurement plan, you have certain goals for the project that should be achieved, but those goals are related to the digital marketing strategy, to the email automation strategy, can be related to the ERP integration and all types of different things. However, one part of it is UX measurement plan, which addresses the efficiency of the UX of web channel, and it addresses the efficiency of interface design. All right. So the process goes like this. So, as I said, when you get a new project, you align the stakeholders, you define the goals, ensure that all of your team members understand what are the goals of the projects and what needs to be done, right? And then this is the very important thing. We should ask ourselves the right question. How shall we measure exactly the goals that we set up in the first place? So, example, let's use one smaller example. In the new projects, we are redesigning the navigation. Why? Somebody will say, because we want to better UX. Great. What is the better UX? Oh, but we can put this there, we can put this there, we can put this somewhere else. But okay, actually, how shall we measure at the start, before starting to work? How exactly do we really have the understanding between each other? How exactly will the success of the new UX be measured like? So which points shall we take into account to decide whether the new navigation is actually better than the last one? In practice, this type of collaboration is done often after the design is created. Then a group gathers and kind of decides, okay, let's now see, whether the new navigation is better or not, and then people start collaborating. Okay, what should we take into account, etc. But this is the innovation that we did at Inchoo, and it helped us a lot in order to align production team much better. We do this part and brainstorming about how shall we measure the success of the new feature, interface, etc., before we actually develop it. And when the designer, front-end developers, back-end developers, project managers, digital marketing manager, data analysts really understand how will the success be measured, they are more efficient. They are able to do things with more clarity, with more understanding, and the things are quite smoother. Of course, once we decide how to measure success of certain element, some checking needs to be implemented. We all did it, and then use Insight for continuous improvements. Okay, let's come back to the Hajduk. So let's discuss what were the challenges, what were the goals of the new website. Well, of course, in practice, there were much more goals than these ones that are listed. But for the kind of duration of the presentation, I will just throw a few examples. Before we started the work, they had some no-commerce solution which crashed often. And you'll experience this when you have a client whose website is crashing often. Every discussion has one top priority, right? The website should not crash. Reduce the reliance on customer support, and a few other goals. Let's just iron them out quickly, and to see how from these quite simple goals do we set up the measurement plan. So first one, it just shouldn't crash. Funny thing is that when we were negotiating with this client, we went to the Poljud Stadium, and we communicated with their marketing teams, etc. And on every dashboard there was like a mark. In Croatia it says samo da ne pada, but in English it would mean like it shouldn't crash, because that was their highest fear. Because every time they build some initiative or marketing initiative, website crash, and that was a really nightmare scenario for them. So you have a goal that sounds quite easy. The website should not crash. But in practice, it's very hard to make everything 100%. So is the success 99.9 uptime ratio? Is the success 99% uptime ratio? Is the success 90% uptime ratio? Because before this, their uptime ratio was 85. Let's just decide what percentage is the success ratio, what KPI metrics and data source we will use to see the results, and then put it in the measurement plan. After the launch, we decided that we will use Kuma uptime tool. It doesn't matter whether it's best tool for the choice, but we are using it. And then, as we can see, in the last 30, 60 days, the uptime is 100%, which is quite good. So in this case, everybody, the DevOps engineers, etc., knew that the success, if you reach 99.9% success rate, will be, satisfied. It's very simple, but having this information available to each of the team members makes a difference, because everybody better understands its own purpose. Then something also which is in Magento quite, it's a no-brainer that we are all used to, that after you make an order, you receive the order confirmation, you get emails for order status updates, etc. They didn't have it before. So a lot of customers, call them. Hey, what's the status of my order? Did I pay? Did I not pay it? I didn't receive any information. Do you have it in your system? So the goal was to reduce the number of support requests. Now we don't have access to their systems. We will not, measure some advanced data. We decide very simply that we will, as a data source, we will just use a plain report of the customer success manager of the Hajduk. So if he says that, rates are down, customer support rates are down by 50%, we'll be happy. But, okay, first two examples were quite simple. When we move, to the next one, one of the goals of the site was to improve the conversion rates and improve the efficiency of the interface that is created to, buy personalized product. At the web shop of the sport clubs, most common are jerseys, of course, but you have, mugs, you have some stickers or something where you can put some custom things. And then, also the question that arises when you get to goal, we want to approve something. Then we ask ourselves, okay, we want to approve it, but how, after we do the work, how shall we know whether we did a good job or not? And we make sure that the tracking is in place. And then afterwards, before starting a design process, we already answered the question, how shall the success be measured of the new interface? And once again, this is why the topic is important, because while doing this and communicating constantly and continuously about the exact goals with the whole team, better alignment is created and the team is more efficient and productive. And then one other example was to fix the search experience, because also on the previous one was quite inefficient. And then we also brainstorm which metrics shall we use to measure the search experience. And the, you notice that with each of the slide, we have a few of the components that are, just a second. Okay, no, never mind. So a few components are a goal, what we need to achieve, audience, whether this feature or something is for all audience, whether they are from customers, whether from repeated customers or whatever, what is the main KPI, and what are the other metrics that you will take into account while measuring the success. We, in Measurement Plan, define the data sources, which tool shall be used for a data source. In UX, it's often Google Analytics, but it can be something else. It can be, of course, in Magento. And then we define what is the success criteria. And when you have all of this, now it's time just to turn to turn into something very simple, and that's to create readable and scannable management plan that will be shared across the whole project team and the client. So, this is the concept. This is the concept. You have, for every goal, you have the elements that we just named, and you can create it in, Excel or in Jira or any other tool that you use. But what is important, it should be accessible to everybody involved into the creation of project UX and project UI. Okay, all right? So whenever somebody gets a task like, okay, you should develop, something, the idea is that he can have the means to check how, after he completes the work, how actually the success of this feature will be measured. And this is what this measurement plan is for, to create alignment on in the production team. I have this URL that just shows a small table that you can use as a template. I'll have it also on the last slide, so we can continue. One of the components also that we use as a part of the measurement plan is design to metric plan. And the concept is very similar, but with a nuance difference. The starting element is actually an interface component. Let's say in this case, we are thinking about to put frequently bought together box at the product page. So, common thing, we did it. But the question is, is it best to put, frequently bought together, or is it better to put related products, or to put, maybe some related products that are using some different algorithm, or is it better to, put, something else, like recently added? Now the question is, or to put them all together. When it gets crowded, usually it's not best for the UX. But when we decide that frequently bought together might be the best option, in the design to measurement plan, we just discuss how shall we know, if you put it there, how shall we measure the success of this box and know whether it makes sense. In this case, it does, because obviously, if we are selling the color pencils, a lot of people who are buying the color pencils are buying for the kids, and they will throw in the cart a lot of different kids things that are related to the kind of school equipment. And once we have the measurement plan, now the designer has the clarity how the success of the future design will be measured. The data analyst or Google Analytics experts or whoever is doing the tracking in your company, whatever the role is named, will actually know what is their purpose and which answer should the tracking setup get. So one of the things I'll use the example that I showed before for the personalization. So instead of just having the product view event, we just added a few more. So we will track when somebody opens the personalization product, on a product view event, we have additional parameters. Then we check when somebody starts using personalization, or how many people start using personalization, and then we follow the full funnel later. And in order to set up the implementation plan, there should be somebody involved from the development side, to prepare data for the data layers, data analysts, or e-commerce manager who knows what are the goals. So these slides answer the question, who is measurement plan for? And during the presentation, I already described a lot of these, a lot of these roles and how they can participate. So we all know that UX can be measured, of course, so that's a no-brainer. But as I said, usually, typical way is that you measure the success of the new UX after. You start thinking about measuring the success of the UX after you deliver it. But try to put this step before you started the design process. Whatever the conclusion is, answer how shall the success be measured. And in our case, it really helps on the team alignment, and the results are better afterwards. So, as I said, this data helps in decision making and choosing the right solutions. So, key takeaway is that if you can't measure something, you can't actually improve it. Well, you can by luck, of course, but in order to make a sustainable improvements, you need to have the culture of measuring. And don't measure things after you do them. Think about how should you measure them before you start to do it, and let that plan be available to all of the project team. All right, so you are all looking at me very seriously. So it's either I didn't send a message at all, or basically you're maybe thinking whether it makes sense in your cases. I hope it's the kind of second case. And yeah, so I hope I was in time. Am I? Am I the first one in time? Okay. So yeah, and the project itself is built on Hyvä. For us, it's important that it was our first Hyvä project at Inchoo. And it's also featured on the Hyvä showcase. And yeah, so if you have time, go to the Hyvä showcase, and you can also read the case study with more details. All right, so shall we continue, or there are room for questions? Okay. Thank you very much. Cheers.